Hey everybody, this is Pearstrike. This is my SGDQ submission for Kirby Air-Ride all tracks, no duplicate vehicles, which is a long name. So this is a really good category, and the reason why I think that this should get in is because this is just like Air-Ride all tracks. It's fast, it's quick, there's some really cool kind of strats, kind of ways to take through the levels. We do abuse interesting glitches later on, but also on top of that, this is no duplicate vehicles, like I said, which means that each vehicle will have, or each track will have a different vehicle. So right now, we're doing something kind of weird, but Bulk Star. You wouldn't normally think that Bulk Star, which is one of the stars that people usually think is like the worst, you wouldn't think that it would be so good. But it happens to be good for this track. And that's how a lot of them are. Some of them just work for certain tracks and like none others. So bulk, right now, we're using a kind of exploit here. If bulk is charged completely and it goes off a ramp, when it drops, when it lands, that adds to the speed that it gets from that boost. So usually you'll charge and you'll boost and you'll get like, I'm playing in Japanese right now, so we're in kilometers. Usually you would get like a 70 or 80 kilometer boost, but now as you can see, we're gonna, or maybe even 60, but now as you can see, we're getting hundreds. And so that increases it by like around 40%. And it's really good, and it makes it so we could go from ramp to ramp and, complete the level pretty quick. And another cool thing, as you saw, maybe you might have missed it in the beginning, but we actually turned around. We went backwards in the beginning of the level, which is a really neat strat. And that makes it so we could hit that ramp. And so then that ramp can bring us to the second ramp, and it is faster than not going for it. So that's a pretty neat strat. And I'm submitting this as a race with one David J. We're both the two top American runners of Air Ride. And we both competed for the Air Ride All Tracks world record multiple times, and this. So this is a really cool run, like I said. This is up there, in my opinion, with regular Air Ride all tracks. Regular Air Ride all tracks is really good because of how hard and skillful it is, and using wheelie scooter and abusing the spin dash glitch, which is what we're going to do right here. And that is basically you spin and then you charge into a wall at the same time, and then that gives you a quick short bursts of speed. We're gonna do it again. We're not gonna spin though. And you could just do like a little wall boost like that too at some points. It all depends on the corner, on the place that you're doing it. But yeah, so Air Ride All Tracks is really cool because it uses the scooter, and the scooter is very fast and very snappy, and we see that throughout the whole run. But this one is really cool because now you have a little bit more variety. You see cool stuff like the scooter, but then you also see a bunch of mid-tier vehicles, as well as maybe even some like low-tier vehicles, which I will point out when we're doing a kind of slower vehicle. But they're all matched for how they are in their own tracks. So it all works out. And that's another pretty cool thing about this run is routing. Routing out which track is best for which vehicle and whatnot is super fun. And both of us have gone over many revisions. Currently, I basically do this route, but I'm currently learning a different strat for machine passage. So a different vehicle for that, which I think is a vehicle we're already seeing. So I think I'm just going to be swapping vehicles on two tracks. So this is still a good display of what we would see. And I might not even switch either. So I don't know yet. But, this is basically what we would see if this did get accepted. And, yeah. So this was Check Night. This is the longest level. This is the longest track. I've been talking about charging and boosting. For those of you who may not know, this game is super simplistic controls. It's basically you just move around with the control stick and then you press A to do everything else. It breaks Kirby, like it stops him. And then as you saw I was doing there, but it also, if you look in the meter in the bottom right, it also builds up that meter, and that's a charge. And then you could release that and get a little boost. Now, some vehicles are completely reliant on that boost, and then some vehicles like this don't use that boost really at all. The only time we use that boost here is to do spin dashes like that. So we're not like boosting around corners or anything like we do it with a lot of others. Now right here, see that? How I started holding A before I hit a root there, and then basically I got this really crazy speed. And usually if you're holding A there and you didn't hit that little bump, you would run out of... You would run, like you would stop before you hit all the boost pads. But because I went off that bump, it gave me a little extra speed and distance, kind of like how we saw with Bulk in that first level. And then I'm able to just boost through that whole ending, and it's a really neat glitch and kind of hard to do too. So that's one that is sometimes overlooked. But right here now, this is Swerve Star. This is one of the most fun stars. Just like how the spin dash, you spin dash into a wall at an angle, you can also do that. You can also abuse that mechanic, that property of this game with this vehicle, which is the Swerve Star. Now this vehicle, you can't move it. The only way you can move it is by holding A and then moving it, like breaking Kirby and then moving it. So we're going to be doing some quick breaks like that. But yeah, you can't just turn it by turning the control stick. So we abuse that by pointing Kirby into the wall at that certain angle and then spinning. And as you see, I go a little faster than I normally would. Like normally I think you go around like, well, okay, when you're spinning, you could hit 62. Normally is around 50. So that speeds you up a little bit. That is kilometers though, so. But yeah, that's pretty neat. That speeds you up a little bit, and it's just a little bit of an edge, and it ends up shaving off a couple of seconds, and it looks kind of cool just how unconventional it is. So, and that's basically this. This is a really cool and fun air ride to do. I mean, really, they're all really fun, and that's kind of, harkens back to what I was saying about enjoying this category so much, is just because of the diversity. And you really get, this started off as a race category, which is why I think it would make a perfect race, by the way. This started off as a race category with me and David, and I think maybe one other runner, but we were doing it a lot just because of how much fun it was. And yeah. And I think it would be a really cool race to show at GDQ, a high-octane racing speed, just like in the first Air Ride All Tracks run that I did at SGDQ. But, there's more variety, there's more to see. I think it's like a good spectacle, I guess. So this is Turbo Star. This is a really kind of annoying star to control right after coming off such a cool star to control. This one's kind of annoying. It's kind of sluggish. It's kind of bulky, no pun intended, because of bulk star. But there is some cool things about it. It only speeds up while turning, or you can only charge while turning. Or that's how you get your quickest charge. So when I'm charging Kirby, I'm going to basically be turning most of the time. And that's actually a strat we use with most of the air rides, but it's very important with this one. And also when we go off a ledge or a jump, I'm going to hold down, or I guess up or whatever, but I'm going to point Kirby down. And then I'm going to bring him back up. And that gives you a little more speed and a little more distance, surprisingly. As you see, I just did it right there. And that's kind of cool too, just because of like a lot of other things, how unconventional it is. And the biggest thing in this level, this is Beanstalk Park. The biggest thing in this level is to watch for that Ferris wheel. And now another thing, this run does not have really any luck. Actually, literally 0 luck. The only thing is, I guess, if you grab 2 power-ups by accident, then the mixer comes out. And then I guess that could be up to luck, but that really won't matter too much. There's a lot of stage things. Like there's that Ferris wheel in this level. What else was there? There was like the bumpers in the last level. So there's some stage hazards, but those are all on a timer. Those aren't, those aren't luck based or anything. So they're all very predictable, which adds to the difficulty and the overall skill of just knowing the levels well. So, and now also, as I've been getting, there's power ups. Killing enemies makes you go faster. So that's a strat we're going to be doing a lot. That's basically the thing in this run, is just kill enemies. And that's why this needle and sword are like the best power-ups, because you could kill enemies the most with them. Now, you don't really want to get bird or wheel, because they do slow you down. But the cool thing with no dupes is a lot of the regular top speeds of a lot of the vehicles are already kind of slow. So coming up in Sand Ocean, we're going to be seeing some intended wheel strats. But now this is Magma. We saw this in Air Ride All Tracks. This is the one, actually I did 2 levels with Rocket in Air Ride All Tracks. But this is the one level that you have to do with Rocket if you want a good competitive Air Ride All Tracks time. Just because this is so much faster with Rocket than Wheelie Scooter. And basically the main thing behind Rocket is it gets a huge boost. So you charge around corners and then you get a huge boost once you come out of it. This part is really cool. It's really fast. You go down this alley. It's also kind of hard to hit all these boost pads. And another thing with the green boost too, you can also get double boosts by hitting the boost pads quickly enough. And that really does affect your speed. And then this level is very cycle-based, this cycle right here. And as you see, I slowed down on purpose to get that boost off of it, because I knew that I had time on the cycle. The thing with that cycle is if you take too long, or if you're just like too slow up to that point, then, and you get on that cycle, then you might and you try to do that charging boosting strat on the moving stick thing that you end up grinding on. The risk that you run with that is it can switch to the last path, and we want to go in the middle path right here. I had some time. So. And then if you get good cycles, you could get the middle path on everyone. And then there's even a faster possible cycle, but I still have never gotten it. It's a very hard level. Right here, this is a pretty cool strat. It's a lot like, it's a lot harder than it looks. It's very momentum based through that lava pit. You have to get like all the double dashes, or all the double boosts on those green boost pads. It's very important to keep your momentum going from 1 to 1. And then it just brings you through that whole section. This is Slick Star. This is a pretty cool star. Very, once again, unconventional, very weird. This star, once you start holding your boost, you can move around within left to right within 180 degrees while maintaining your speed. And basically, we do that and then turn, and then let go of the boost and then do it again. And then it's kind of like boost chaining, or like a snaking kind of thing. That's what we call it. We call it snaking. So as you can see, I'm going to be doing it here back and forth. And it's really fast on this level. Scooter is faster overall, but this one is very viable on this level. This is second. This is a cool strat. We turn kind of backwards there just to slide through it better. It's really neat stuff. This level, a lot of the levels also have a certain like property. This has an ice property, so some vehicles actually can't run super well on this. Like even Scooter has a little bit of trouble sometimes running on the ice, but Slick always works perfectly on it. It's almost like it was made for this level. Some levels are really way more tailor-made to other air rides than most, or than others, which is neat. Really like the diversity. This game was just developed really well. This mode is a lot of time overlooked because a lot of people mostly had fun with the city trial mode growing up. But this mode is super well made. It's super well developed. And there's a lot of depth to it. A lot more than you would think. I'm also running this on time attack. The reason why is because all the enemies are in the same spot. So we go through here, and basically it makes it for consistent strats, and it's just overall way better than having to deal with CPUs. You could do like actual fast things and actual consistent strats, and it's really cool. This is also in the Japanese version, because the Japanese version, as I mentioned a little bit before, but the Japanese version is faster. The air rides are a little tiny bit lighter, so they go a little bit farther and just are a little bit faster overall. And that's what's really cool about that, like, speed difference. So that saves about possibly up to like 30 seconds per all tracks run. It's nothing huge, but it is important at a top level, and that's a cool little jump there. But yeah, that's a really cool thing. I just really like that difference is so unique. So this level, this is the wheelie bike. Now the wheelie bike is like a worse controlling wheelie scooter that you can't spin dash with it. But as you can see, I'm doing intentional wheel strats because the wheel is more floaty, is more like jumpy. You could get better jumps with it. It almost has like the jump mechanics of wheelie scooter, and it ends up being pretty good. I'm going to try to get it here. I don't know. No, I end up killing it. That happens a lot. But it's okay. Sword is good too still because it's still killing enemies. That's giving you a speed boost. Not as big of a speed boost as it would be with Wheelie Scooter, but still pretty good. Now also the thing is too, I'm still going to be boosting into walls here. Not as much as I would with the Wheelie Scooter, but as you see, I do it there a little bit. It gives you a slight boost. As you could basically tell, it's just a property that is within the game, and some vehicles can access it, some can't. Luckily, Wheelie Bike can. So Wheelie Bike is just a pretty decently solid. Oh, I am gonna get it here, nice, and then I could do that jump again too. That's pretty cool how you could fly off of those spinny things. But yeah, it's just pretty cool how different every vehicle is. But oh yeah, like I was saying, Wheelie Bike is just very it's a pretty solid. Oh, I got the wheel at the end. Nice. It's a pretty solid vehicle. You know, nothing too good, nothing too bad. It's like definitely mid-tier, but it doesn't have too much tech. But this level does, or this vehicle does. This is the Jet Star. And this star is all about going into air and then coming right down. And then you get a speed boost from that, as you will see. Right after these ramps, if I don't get hit by enemies, right after these ramps, I'm going to mash A, or I'm going to hit A. And then you could go super fast down those mini ramps. I wasn't able to show it off too well right there, but I will get the chance to do it in a second. But yeah, dude, going through the ramps is really important. Going through that part is pretty fast too. If I press A at the top of that waterfall, I get another little boost. You boost down here. This is just a very quick boom, boom, boom kind of air ride. And this is like one of the most fun levels. This level, Jet in general, has such a high skill cap too. The time I get in this run, I believe, is over 15 seconds slower than my best, which sounds like kind of normal, kinda, but usually with this game, it's a lot like closer. It's just very volatile, I guess. But that's what's really cool about it too. And also, as you could see, I'm going into that top cubby hole on that rail near like the middle of the level, kind of near the beginning. That top left one is the fastest for this, and it's the fastest for most of them. But or for most of the vehicles, but yeah, it's definitely the fastest for this one. As you can see, trying to do a nice line through these enemies to kill them. Gotta watch out for those mushroom guys, because they could hit you and you'll lose some of your speed that you're going. I ended up on the rail there kind of by accident, but still nice path through those small mini hills. And then you could, basically if you just time your A presses there, you could really get a lot of speed like I've been doing. And then I slow down off of that vine to hit that green boost, and I believe I get like a triple boost. So then I get the hurricane intentionally right there to spin through those enemies. Spinning is important too. Spinning can be utilized well. Oh, actually 215 is good. I thought I got a 225 for some reason. Yeah, 215 is pretty decent for me. Never mind. That's only like 5 or 6 seconds off my best, but. And now this is the final vehicle and final track. This is Formula. This vehicle is really bad, but this is the quickest track. And so really we could do kind of whatever we want to do here, because a lot of the vehicles are basically around the same speed. So this one just gain speed over time. So you want to not move too much, and you want to just mow down enemies, keep to the wall. You want to stick to the ground. As you may have seen, a lot of vehicles aren't great for flying. This is definitely one of them. So yeah, just keep on going through it, and like we see, it's very quick, and we should get sub 50 here, I think. Oh, barely. But anyways, that was Air Ride All Tracks No Duplicate Vehicles. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it a lot, and have a great day.